Hello. I need to change the camera angle. Guys, I messed with the camera before I literally was just about to stream. Tell me why I do these things. Okay, we're okay. Although the color is off. I don't know why. Let's see if we can fix it while I yap. I opened up the filters and yes. And it just like made me go grey. So now my skin looks translucent. Already bad enough. We don't need OBS's help with that. But basically today I did want to play Star Wars Island again. That was the plan. And then unfortunately it just kind of fell through. And I don't know why. The game won't work. So the game will open. It stays open. But the amount of usage of RAM. My PC is not built to run. I think they broke something with all the updates. I love the updates. I do. I love when a game updates constantly and fixes things so much. Great. Until it breaks something. And I think it's broken something. On our first Starzan stream, we had no problems. Everything was completely fine. And then the second one, it was okay. But then the third time I tried to stream it, I was like, oh, it doesn't want to do it. So basically, to save my sanity and my PC and you guys from watching a stream that's very laggy, we're not going to stream it right now. Hopefully they fix it, and if they do, we will be streaming it, but right now it's just not happening. So I decided to be productive and do bulletin boards. All I have really is maybe a couple more honey and a bunch of materials to make the ranch furniture. That's it. So some of it we can buy. I think we might have enough money to buy it. I need like silver bars, and I don't think, we're going to be able to do this. Only 3. I need 3 of those. And then we need copper. Copper is so important right now. And fabric and stuff. So we're just going to go and try and finish it. It'll be fine. I don't know what's wrong with the camera. It's actually driving me insane. This looks weird. Normally it looks more... It's like normally like more contrasted, but I don't know if I change this. I look like I'm in Twilight, but red. It's really weird. I don't know why it's doing that. Should I put the brightness down? I look really weird. I don't know why it's doing this. I have no idea. I put this up and I look super pale, so it's not changing anything. Raz, hello. We are trying to fix my camera. It might look okay, but it doesn't look okay on my end. I think I like the saturation being higher. This is not changing my... Oh. If I leave the saturation on the normal setting, I look like this, and I don't know what is going on. I've tried, like, deactivating the camera and reactivating it and see if it does anything. The only thing that seems to help is if I do this. So I'm a bit worried that I'm gonna look super red or super grey. Great stream. Professional streamer. Oh my. I have no idea why. Maybe this is fine? Is this okay? Do I look okay? I don't know if I do. Let me check my phone. My monitor is not a good tell because I have it set so that it looks really colourful with games. Camera looks fine. Are you showing up the colour balance of the camera and monitor? I'm not sure. It looks fine without the saturation. It looks super grey to me. Does this look okay? If this looks okay, I'll leave it like this, because to me, it looks okay on my phone. So I would say that's fine. But if I turn the saturation down to the normal default, it looks super grey. I look see-through. And it isn't normally like that. And I keep doing something every couple of weeks that changes how the camera looks. You know what would be good? If OBS would save camera and mic settings and things without you having to redo them all the time, that would be amazing, right? Looks fine either way. Okay. I'll leave it like this then. It's just if I go back through my streams and I like do clips and then I come back and I'm looking at the clips and I look pale, like I'm pale. I accept it. I don't want to look like I'm like a vampire or something. And like I've done that once. There's like 2 clips out there of me looking so pale that it's scary to look at. So this does look okay to me. It looks okay to you. Then that's fine. We'll leave it. We'll leave it alone. I'll leave it alone. Okay. I don't know. I did the exact same settings as I did before, but I did something after and it changed it. So I'll figure out what it is. But we are doing Palia today though, because I don't know why Stars on the Island hates me. I don't know what they did. They definitely broke something because for some reason it uses like 4,000, is it megabytes? I don't know. I don't know what the like, what's it called? I don't know what the measurement of it is or whatever it's called. It's like really bad. It uses like double of every other game I play. I've tested every game and they're all fine. And my PC is fine. So early access games are just a risk, basically. I can play it off stream, it's fine, but the minute I go live, it's like you guys are going to be watching a stream lag like crazy. So we're not going to do it. But we have chill stuff today, so it's fine. We have literally just got to go get like wood, make them into planks and things. I could go buy everything, but I think we just find it instead. I'm sure what would be wrong with OBS as my settings never changed even when exporting settings from PC to another one. When do you edit your camera? If you edit your camera settings, like the saturation or anything, it resets back to default every time you open an OBS. Even in the same day. Every time. Hey, play Palia back in beta, so excited to see what it looks like now. You did? I have been playing it since alpha. So it's been a long time. Might swing me back in, hopefully. Hopefully, there's so much that has changed. It's kind of crazy. There's a lot. We have a whole new zone. So, my camera settings are not default. Wait, is there a thing for that then? Are you a wizard? Because everyone else seems to have the problem where you close OBS, open it again, and it resets. I don't know. I don't know why. It's fine. I have all my settings written down. That's not a problem. The problem is I do something every couple of weeks after changing my camera settings that puts it in like a grey filtery way and it drives me insane. This is fine, yeah, but I prefer the other settings. Don't know what we did. No idea what we did. But what do we need? I have pictures. I did the whole like, I can't even call myself a millennial because I'm not, but let's be honest, I pretty much am. I did like the millennial thing of like, let me take a picture of how much I need. Like, you know, most people are just like, oh, I need 50 wood, I need 50 that. I'm like, I'm not gonna remember. So we need like 50 planks for that, but we also need more for that. I need loads of wood. So we're gonna go and chop down every tree in the forest, whichever chosen land we want to deforest, because 220 wood, 80 wood, 300 wood, and 180 wood for 40 different furniture items for the bulletin board is crazy. I could buy it. I could. But then there would be no stream. Might be because my camera settings originally came from a variation of OBS from 6 years ago, so I have a... Ooh, maybe. I started streaming on Twitch on Xbox. So my OBS settings will have only been like 3 or 4 years old, I think. I don't know how long I've been on Twitch. Not just this channel, but like my first channel. I don't remember. I don't know, maybe it's something like that. There's gotta be something that you've done that I'm too like dumb to figure out, but it's okay. I don't mind redoing them. It's when you do something before you set up stream, you do everything right. You do everything right. Camera's fine, mic's fine, notifications are working, everything's great. And then you do something wrong the minute you go live. That's why I was live like 5 minutes late. But it's fine. Let me get the game up, which I didn't do either because I was testing things earlier. Let's see how long it takes. There we go. It's fine. Okay, let me make sure I have this in front of me. So I have a Dreamlight Valley obsession right now. So I haven't played anything other than that, except for the stream of Heartopia the other day. So I have been... I've been neglecting everything. But we have a bunch of stuff in my bag. So let's get rid of these. And let's open these. Wait, what are these again? These aren't pods. They're... Oh, wait, they are pods. They are pods. We have pods. Okay, let's open these. Okay, I have that one. Ooh, I like that one. Oh, yay. Okay, these are not bad. I'm actually going to have to do something with these, though, because I'm not going to lie. How many do we have now? You see this? Do you see this? This is... I wonder if there's someone that isn't like me and hasn't... Also, I'm sorry if I'm, like, very loud. I keep leaning into the mic and forgot that I changed the mic settings a couple of weeks back. Someone that hasn't missed any, like, login rewards or anything must have so many more pods than I do, because this is insane. My setting that forever resets itself is my custom overlay inside my Mix It Up. I have to keep refreshing it every time I start stream. I wonder why. There's, like, things for me and then things for you that's so different, but they're both as annoying. Kill my candle holder is good for pods. But they kill my candle holder. We've got almost 200. 200? I probably only have like 50 in here, right? How'd you have that many of them? Have you traded for them? Or are they like rewards from something? Because I have nothing. Honestly, I'm not gonna lie. I think we just literally go and chop down trees. I think we just go chop down trees. I don't think I care that much about... Oh wait, we have a thing. I don't think I care that much about like doing it a certain way. I think we just go ham. We just do it like crazy. Oh, I shouldn't have accepted that because now it's not going to be able to be put in a chest. I don't want it. No. Okay, it's fine. It's fine. It's okay. Some traded for. Okay, I was gonna say you have to have traded something. There's no way. That's crazy. But you have loads of plushies too. You're really good with, like, grinding for those plushies. Like, I'm terrible. Like I said, I haven't logged in since the last stream. Which was, like, what, 2 weeks ago now? I think that's what's good about this game, though. Personally, I feel like if I can leave a game alone for a couple of weeks and still come back and enjoy it, I think that's good. Close to what? You're close to 1k plushies. That's insane! Oh, how? Are they from, like, hunting and things like that? Or are you just, like... I don't know, that seems like... Oh, hello? That seems like crazy luck, though. That is insane. There's just no way. Hunting, bug hunting, oh god. Could not be me. Could not be me. Oh, wait. Maybe I should be catching bugs while we do this. He disappeared. He disappeared. Yeah, it couldn't be me. I don't have the commitment for that. I'm not good at things that take dedication. I feel like that would take a long, long time. Also, now I've got 30 of the Rift Rock plushies from the market too. Yeah. Yeah, I'm doomed. I'm doomed. There's just no chance. There's no chance I'll ever catch up. Because the thing is with me, when it came to Palia, originally when the game came out, I had no other game really to play except like Dream Light Valley at the time. And I... 2 games, that's all I would really be playing. So, obviously I dedicated a lot of time into PALIA, but we had no stuff like plushies and stuff back then. It was just like the base game stuff, right? We had no of the extra cool stuff that we have now. So I never got anything out of it in like a sense of like what you have. So now I have all these games I'm playing. I'm like, I've got to choose what do I want. And I think PALIA is one of the hardest ones to keep up with. At least I think it is. When you really think about it, the plushies, like, it's going to take me a long time to even get remotely close to 1k. To get all those tickets and stuff too, for the market, to get those plushies, crazy. See, look at me, I keep hitting the trees that aren't even droppable. And I used to know every single tree that wasn't droppable. I don't know anything anymore. I'm still missing plushies even with my nearly 1k. How? Because, like, how long have you been playing since the game came out? Or did you start playing late? Because I played day 1. Did 2 plushies? Oh. Wait, what were they from? Started during the closed beta. Okay, I was going to say, because I almost wasn't invited to the beta. Obviously, I'm an alpha tester, so like you would be like, isn't that weird? Yeah. So, most of us were supposed to be invited, but I didn't get invited until midnight the night before. And I was panicking. I was panicking like crazy. I was like, I've told people I'm going to stream the game. And I couldn't stream because I was thinking they're not going to give me a key. Like, they're not going to let me do it. They're not going to invite me to the closed beta. And I got invited last minute. So we played day 1 of closed beta, but the kids who came from mining. Okay. Are you like trying to get it too? And it's just not happening. Because that's like mad bad luck. Even though you have all those plushies, like the one thing you want, you just physically can't get. That would drive me insane. Like, obviously there's ones that I would want. Like, I still want the little sprout guy. But I haven't done the event to get him, and I probably won't get him now. Unless, like, I did it with stream or something, you know? Because no one's doing the event now because they all have the plushie, they don't care. So I should have done it when it came out. But the chances of me getting it now are so slim. Like, I have rare plushies that I could probably trade for, to be honest. That some people would be like, I'll do it. I don't want to do that. I like the ones I have. Plus, I'm not gonna lie, I'm not that bothered about it. I love the idea of plushies, but I'm not like, I must have them all. You know? I don't really care that much. Like, it's not... At first, I think it was like oh, I feel like I'm left out. I don't have this and that. I don't mind now. I'm kind of like, okay, well, if you want it, you gotta try and get it. But there's no excuse. You know, trying after about 1k iron bars, 1k copper bars. Twitch, just get it when I get it. Yeah. That's what I mean. I used to be very like... I used to have big FOMO, but to an extreme extent. Where like, if I didn't have something, it would genuinely upset me. If I missed like out on something in like the shop in a game, like, or there was an item given for a limited time and I didn't get it, I used to be so upset. Because I'm like, I'm never gonna get it again. Now I'm just like, if I get it, I get it. It's like, it's not that big of a deal. Like, it's just life. Life. There's a couple of plushies I'll never have as they come from buying the drink things. I think they ended up giving us one of them, right? Wasn't it like really weird? I could have sworn that they sold that and then a couple months later they actually ended up giving it out. But I don't know. It's one of the original potato pods, which has always refused to drop. Wait, only one? You have all the others. Wow. The pink magic. I swear they gave us that one, but they haven't given the other one, right? I might be wrong. I might be wrong. I'm remembering it wrong. But like the pink dragon, I feel like they like everyone went crazy. It was like, I bought this and now you're just giving it out. It's kind of crazy. But I'm not gonna buy something like that. That's the thing. When that came out, I was like, oh, I can't buy it because I can't drink it. But then, why does it matter so much? Like, if you can't buy the thing that it comes with, it's not that big of a deal. Like, it's fine. There's the magic dragon, but only one given away is just called the pink magic. Oh. So they're like very similar, but slightly different to the point that it's like, okay, that's crazy. I'm so worried about you cutting your hair off. It's spiraling crazy. Girl's about to end up like me. Honestly, my hair was probably only about half her length, and then I cut it up to my shoulders, and now I regret it. I regret it. I'll be careful. I'll be careful, don't worry. I won't cut her hair, I promise. Visually, they're identical, just different name. Wait, seriously? They're actually the same. Crazy. That's... No, that's ridiculous. How did people not, like, fight against that? Like, oh, if you buy this expensive drink that you probably won't drink at all, and then you get this plushie for free with it. But then in a couple of months, we're going to give everyone the same thing. That feels like gaslighting to me. Thanks. I'll try. I mean, if that was a game mechanic, it would be quite funny, actually. Just, like, swooping my, like, axe and the hair gets chopped off. It's literally Rapunzel. This is the Rapunzel outfit. It's called Rapunzel. Can you imagine, like, a hair gets chopped off? It would be, like, a canon event. I do have both as I traded to get them Adrena's pink one too. Oh! Oh, that's nice. How did you trade for that, though? What did you have to give away? I think at one point I was tracking my plushies and like bugs and everything. Like I had a really like I was very like smart about it. I used the tracker and everything for it, and I've just given up. I can't be bothered. It's too tiring. Pascal looks more Fox and I remember. Oh my god, don't. If they ever brought a little chameleon into the game, I would die. I would die. Just for reference, Tangled is my favorite like film of all time. Not just Disney film, but film. Mega plushie before they added them to City Hall and something else. So like basically you got it for free, essentially, because like you could just get it back. It's kind of funny. Oh, we have silver and... Oh, where is that? Is that... H7? H7, am I too far away? Oh, I'm not gonna get there. I'm not gonna get that. It's okay. I probably have silver ore as well that we can change, or I can just buy like a couple. I only need 3. That's not even the problem. The silver's not even the problem, it's the wood. You had about 20 of them at the time? Oh, you're chilling. You're like, I don't know if it's possible, but somehow you're like a professional Palia player. Like, literally perfect. That's super loud now. Literally perfect. I used to be, before I started streaming on this channel, like, I used to be really good with things, but these days, like I say, I just stopped tracking everything. I have no idea what I have or haven't got. He just jump scared me so bad. My heart just like jumped. Why are you still here? Oh my. Hello? I thought he was disappearing like last month. Yeah, I have no idea what I have or haven't got now. I'm like completely just like still completely oblivious to everything. If I get something cool, I get something cool. You know what? It kind of makes it a little bit more fun to not care. To just like play the game and not care about anything that I don't have anymore. It's like in Dreamlight Valley as well. I still got my plushie of I built now. It's how I keep track of all the plushies I have. Wait, that's so smart though. So smart. So efficient. And then there's me that's just like, opposite. Well, let's hope that the efficiency actually comes into help at some point. And you get the damn kitsus. Because I logged in Streamer Valley, like, what was it? Like, I think Halloween last year. I'm gonna hit this and then walk away and hope someone cuts it down because I'm not calling it out. I can't be bothered. Sorry. I logged in Streamer Valley last year and like for the witchy star path because I was like, I need it. Started playing again after like not playing for a couple of months, and then I left after Christmas before the Cinderella update came out. And what came out around that time that I didn't play, something I really, 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 really wanted, and it has taken 5 months for it to come back. So I learned the lesson that it's okay. The things you really want will happen. It just takes its time. It's okay. Like, it just took 5 months. And I realized yesterday there's another version of the thing I want. And it hasn't been out for months as well. So we're kind of just like on the hunt for things. And if it pops up, I can have it. You know? Bring on the flow-powered chainsaw to allow us to sell the big... Yes! Can you imagine? I don't think they would do that, though. Can you imagine chainsaws just like... No, this game's too cute. Look at the snowman. Just like... If Palia ever turned dark, that would be crazy. The cozy gaming community just like disappears, and Palia is like, do we shut down the game, or do we make it go like a dark way? Like, imagine like horror games pick up and then cozy games fall down. And Palia's like, we're gonna add chainsaws into the game. That would be crazy. Okay, we still have more room. We still have room, so I don't know if we just... How much am I gonna be able to make with what I have? How much does it take to make a plank? Players running around with a hoodie mask. A hockey mask, carrying chain... No, because stop, I would literally cry. That would be awful. Awful. Oh no. Oh no. My dreams tonight are gonna be really dodgy now. Oh, that reminds me. I don't know if anyone can help with this. 1 for 1 for planks. Oh, okay. Well, do we just keep going? I'll tell this story. Maybe we'll go back and we'll put them in the thing. I woke up. Was it yesterday morning? It was either Monday or Tuesday morning. I woke up and it was like 30 minutes before my alarm was going to go off, right? So it's 7 a.m. I'm so disorientated. I'm like, random memory pops up in my head and I'm just like, I know this game. What is this game? I had this game pop up into my head and was so confused because I don't remember the game, like, properly. I remember one little thing about it, and that is it. And I scoured the internet for 2 hours. Still don't know what game it is. Because I remember the tiniest detail of what the game is, but I remember it being so good. You didn't notice I was on. I'm going to assume that's what you just said. Hello. Yeah. We're on Palia because Stars and Island is just the same for me again. What is said tiny detail? So there's like very few details I can give. One, its art style was similar to Palia. See, this is the thing I'm just going to put out there. I'm not sure if I had a dream about a game that I wanted to play when I was waiting for Palia to come out. Like, it's not a real game, it's a dream. Or if it's a real game and I dreamt about the game. Do you know what I mean? It's so very confusing. I don't know if the game exists. I feel like it was a cancelled game. The game had a testing phase and I played the test for it and then it got cancelled and so the game doesn't exist. I can't find it anywhere. It looks like Palia. Like, Palia's sort of cartoonish art style. It was an MMO RPG, I believe. But with, like, weapons and stuff. And I feel like it was kind of cozy, but not like Palia cozy. It looked like Palia, but wasn't Palia cozy. And I remember walking in. This is so stupid. I remember in the game, I remember when you enter the game, you walk down a road and then there's a left and a right. If you went left, there was a pond. Oh no. I don't know. Pal World, no. No, it wasn't Pal World. I've never played Pal World. I wanted to, but I never did. And we will be playing the Pal Farm one. That'll happen, but it wasn't. It was an MMORPG. That's the problem. So if anyone knows of any cozy games that looked similar to Palia that came out for testing phase in the last 5 years, or in the last probably like 2020 to 2024, maybe, probably, that were an MMORPG with a road that turned left and right. I don't know. What's the issue with Starzone? Starzand. Basically, like I said last stream, it's just got like so much RAM usage that streaming it is impossible, and I physically cannot upgrade my RAM. It's too expensive. Have you seen how expensive? For me to just double my RAM, it would be £400. £400, so it's impossible. So we cannot. I just realised I'm the one spotting all the floor trees. That's me. Maybe we should stop. Yeah. I don't know. It basically is eating up so much RAM that it's impossible to stream and have all the apps I need open. Like, you can see I don't have my background blurred out because I was testing stuff. And I don't have the app open for it because it does eat a little bit of RAM, but not too much. But what's in with the gold? There's a RAM shortage right now. You remember the graphics card problem that we had a few years back when I was building my PC and graphic cards doubled in price? The same thing is currently happening with RAM. It's insane. So for DDR5, 32 gigabyte, I think, is it? I think it's around that, is like £300-400. For reference, I looked up how much my RAM that I currently have, which is DDR4, 16 gigabyte, and it was £50 in like 2021 or something like that when I bought it. Cheapest thing in my PC. Cheaper than my PC case, might I add, because I have a freaking NZXT case, which they're not all that cheap in comparison to some. I could have gotten a cheap one. My RAM didn't cost anything. £50. £50! Oh, what a time. Now I looked up the same RAM. It's 3 times the price. It's like £150. So basically, we cannot play Stars and Island on stream right now. If they fix the problem with the RAM, I will play it on stream 1000%. Like, I want to. It's so fun. I love the game. But because of it being in early access too, it's like, I'm not surprised there's like a problem. But I don't think it's a memory leak. It's just instant high RAM usage. Only the newer RAM. No, because my £50 RAM that I currently have now costs about 150 quid. Why? I don't know. I think it's something to do with AI or something. I don't really know. AI, yes, you got it. Because of the rise of AI, lots of demand. Yeah, that's what I thought it was. I saw something earlier. Ridiculous. Because to be honest, it shouldn't cost that much at all. My GPU cost me 1,700. My PC was supposed to cost me £400 for a very, like, quite a low-end gaming PC. And it ended up costing me 900-ish in the end because of the graphics card problem. By the time I looked up what I was going to use in my PC, the graphics card had doubled in price in like a month. So RAM is just ridiculous. Honestly, it's the most annoying thing ever. Because tell me why I just like, I'm not able to just upgrade something when I want to. Honestly, PCs are just insane. I feel like PCs in general are just insane these days. I didn't realize how insane it was going to be to actually build a PC. I don't think anyone warned me because I didn't know anyone with a PC that played games. Like, I had no idea how ridiculous it was going to be. Can't believe it when I was looking the other day. Yeah, I checked again this morning just to see. And the same one that I have now, but like updated obviously because it's like way older RAM. It would be like £400, which is what the original PC would have been. Obviously, I've upgraded stuff now, so my PC's worth a lot more than that, but like ridiculous. So what's your... Yeah, DDR4. I have no idea what that means. But, yes. It's old, but it's gold. It's fine. We love it. We love the RAM. Any RAM is beautiful. Giving GPU markers for focusing towards... Yeah, I saw that. I saw that. I think it's just crazy. Like, why is everything so reliant on that these days? It's driving me insane. I just want to be able to buy PC pieces and not have to worry too much about them being insane. I get that they should be somewhat expensive. I get they're gonna be. It's not cheap to build a PC, realistically. It's just, oh, stop giving me things. I don't want them. I'm not expecting it to be cheap, but I am kind of expecting it to be purchasable for an average human. It's insane. Oh wait, how much can we do for this? Oh, we can make this. It probably... Oh wait, it only takes 3 minutes? It only takes 3 minutes per bar. I didn't know that. Wait, so we do 5, 15. Okay. Okay. So we've got that. We've probably got all the planks. I don't know how long they'll take. We should be able to do that though. And I need a bunch of copper. Where do we get copper from now? Is copper's still... Kilometer, right? I think it's copper. It looks like copper. I have 40 copper bars. Wait, I didn't check if... I didn't check if we have ore or not. Damn it! I always do that. If I have the bars... I don't have the bars, but if I have the ore, I don't need to go and get more. I should pop out some of my RAM and then sell it. I sold 2 of my 4 sticks. I could buy 2 more mini PCs. No, literally, if you sell 1 stick of RAM these days, you're like rich. You're like the richest guy on earth. It's insane. I think someone said that they sold like half of their RAM literally in like a Discord. I think it was in Stars on Island. Someone was talking about it and I think they said they sold it. They sold like half their RAM and it made them so much money. Ridiculous. I don't know why. I don't get it. Oh, we don't need it. How much can we make? We have like 150 of it. How much is it? It requires 5. We need a lot more than that. I'm going to put that in. But we need a lot more than that, so we still have to go get it. I need like 20, 30. Whoa. 20, 30, 60, 70, 80. I need 80. I need 80 bars. It's okay. We'll do it today as in like a let's actually get this finished, but more than likely it might be that I actually have to buy things. I don't mind. I don't mind buying it. But I also don't mind farming for it while we are, because this is the vibes are fine. I don't mind. I just wish we wouldn't have furniture as a part of the bulletin board. It would be a lot better, in my opinion. I don't like it. I will give you copper bars. I just don't want to do furniture. Don't make me have to do furniture. I feel like if we could get rid of furniture, people like actively got rid of it. Can you imagine people deleting a bunch of their furniture and then just like next month there's like a bulletin board that requires all of the furniture they got rid of? I would simply never play the game again. Like, but I don't hoard furniture. I just hoard everything else. But I need a bunch of this to actually decorate with, and they just don't give me an opportunity to do it. Anytime I think, oh, do you know what would be fun? Let's decorate. They want me to then use the things I would use to decorate to give away for nothing. Where my mum's old all-in-one PC's RAM, my dad is going to use it, but it's all DDR3. I can only get an 8GB stick of the PC uses. Like, oh my. DDR3? I never even heard of that. I never even heard that being said. I honestly don't know what what DDR even is. I don't know. What does it actually stand for? I'm like very... Guys, I built my PC. I just don't know what any of the things do. It looks cute. That's all I care about. But DDR3. 8 gigabyte. But for like... But what's it being used for though? Because like... 8 gigabytes like fine. I have 16. It's not great when you're trying to stream. I would suggest if you're gonna stream and you're like building a PC, get 32 or more. It's gonna cost you a fortune. But if you have the money, do it. DDR stands for double data. Seriously? Why can't we just like say the words? I don't like abbreviations. I don't remember abbreviations. It makes things even more difficult to me. It's too many to remember. Double data rate. So what are the numbers? Are they like generations, essentially? So like, does it go by like the 2010s, the 2020s, things like that? Wait, yeah? Am I correct? Am I actually... If I'm correct, I feel so smart. Let's just pretend that that didn't make sense to anyone else. Because then when would that take us? If we're in DDR5 now, that take us back to like the 70s. DDR4 is a generation above DDR3. Oh, so I am right. Wait. So that would take us back to like the 70s? If we're on 5 now, and the 2010s is 4, that's the 2000s. That's... Oh, the 80s maybe. You could try looking in text to have some... DDR6 has been worked on. Well, we are in 2026 to be fair, so I wouldn't be surprised if things change within the next couple of years. It's gonna be... I feel like we're in that stage of like things feeling a bit futuristic in like a creepy way, and I don't like it. But Kex, I mean, yes, but the thing is, I've looked on there for like, I wanted to buy a PlayStation 2 because I wanted to play like some old stuff like that I have, and I was like, oh, I want to get one because I regret selling mine, and I was like, I want to get a Game Boy Advance because I also regret mine being broken. I can't regret the fact that they broke, but I can regret not treating it well enough as a kid that it didn't work into my 20s. But they are so expensive. Like, not to mention DS's. DS is being sold for a lot now because people are like, I'm not going on my phone anymore. I'm going to buy DS instead. So everyone's just like hooking up all these prices. It's crazy, but like, I don't know. If I can't even buy like a PlayStation 2 in like semi-okay condition without it costing a fortune, I don't think I'm going to be able to buy RAM without that. Or like, I would be worried that the RAM would end up breaking very quickly because something's just not quite right with it. Like, Kex actually sold me an Xbox, a secondhand Xbox One S, I think it was at the time. And they gave me a controller with it. And the controller broke in 2 weeks. So, I ended up just buying a cute one. I got a cute purple one. It was all fine, but like it cost me like £60 for a new one, and I could have gone back and been like, it broke, give me another one. But they would have given me an ugly one. So I moved on from it very quick. It didn't matter to me at that point. But like, I don't trust them. I don't know. Plus, I don't like going in there. I don't like going into like gaming shops because you get stared at. Well, I get stared at so weirdly. It's like, I don't know if it's just my town. I don't know if it's just my town, but they just like stare me out. I'm like, I don't like being in here. Gamers are getting, we're not actually owning the games and cost us to pay for us to play and all that stuff. You want me? Yeah, I didn't think about that. It didn't occur to me until like the last couple of years that when you buy a game online, you are basically renting the rights to own it, but you don't technically own it. You have like the right to play it. And you like own, I don't know how to even explain it. You'll know what I mean anyway, but the fact of like the fact that you just don't own a game that you think you do, it's crazy. Like, you don't own any of the games if they're not physically in your hand. But the problem is you can't actually own every game these days though. Like, Palia obviously isn't something you can own in person. Any of the games I play are live service, like I can't own them on disc. Crazy. Access to it, yeah, you explained that so much better in like 3 words. Rather buy secondhand tech due to not knowing how long it'll last, but I'll buy secondhand games and DVDs. I think secondhand games that are like single player like games that you're gonna be able to finish, that aren't like online like this, I think that's worth just trading in and buying another one and trading in and buying another one if you're not sentimental. I, on the other hand, physically wouldn't be able to go into a shop, buy a game, play it, finish it, take it back. We spoke about this in the last stream, I think, or was it the stream before? I think it was the stream before where I just like get so attached to things. It's ridiculous. If you handed me a stone, just a stone, just a little stone, like off the ground, you gave it a name, the stone is now coming home with me. I can't leave it. I can't just chuck it on the floor and leave it. It's mine now. Okay? Like, I have to take it home. It's my child. Like, it's ridiculous. So for me to go and buy a game and take it back in like 2 weeks because I finished playing it, it's not happening. I just don't think I can do it. And like CDs and DVDs and like, no. I just couldn't do it. And that is why I will never get rid of my old consoles or games. See, so like, I had a PlayStation 2. I had the pink one. And I don't know what I did with it. And then we found it and I started using it again. I was like, oh, cool. And then I sold it, I think. I think I took it in to sell because I was like, I don't want it anymore. Like, eh. This is before I got like so heavily into my games that it didn't matter to me for some reason. Come back and I'm like, oh, I want to play this game that I can only play on a PlayStation 2 because it was only ever on a PlayStation 2. Can't play it anymore. Oh, how much is it to buy one? It's probably only like 50 quid. No. You want a PlayStation 2? No. Nope. You want it to actually be good condition. Yeah, it's not gonna happen. And like, if they ate up my game and my game didn't come back out, no, I'd cry. Those games are so precious to me now. But still have an Atari 2600. Wait, a what? Okay, I know what Atari is. Oh god. Honestly though, that would be so cool. Having like old gaming consoles to just be able to go back to when you want like a low energy game to play would be so cool. If we have me, I'll bring a boulder and call Percy and watch you carry it off home. Wait, what? Oh, a boulder. Can you imagine? That would be crazy. I actually would have to though. I genuinely would have to. It would literally be Taylor Swift's Opalite music video. She has like a pet rock or a friend rock in it. It doesn't end well for her though until things happen, you know. The rock's not good. That would be what I'd be like. Like, I feel so bad. Like my plushies, like you can't even see them. I don't know why you can't see them on the street. You can see this one here, like there. If they get knocked on the floor, I feel so bad. They're not real, but I feel bad. I'd even paint eyes on it. Oh no, that would make it even worse. Cause like we went to like B&M once before Christmas, like when the Christmas decorations come out, and we saw this little I don't know where it is. We had like little gonks. So they're like gnomes. If you don't know what a gonk is, it's basically like a gnome, but it's slightly different. I love gonks. I love them. They're like one of my favorite things. And it was this little green one. And my mum picks one up and she's like, oh, they're cute, but let me get a different one because this one's like a little bit wonky or something like that. And I was like, you can't put that one back. I bought that one. She got a new one and I got that one. And then I make her feel bad because she put that one back. I'm like, you can't do that. Here's a rug. His name is Rocky. Oh god. Oh god. So Percy or Rocky? I don't know which one's best. You talking about me? I am. The time we went to B&M, I think it was B&M, and we got like the little gonk. And I made you feel bad because you picked one up and then tried to pick another one up. And you can't do that. You're not allowed. They have gonks quite often in my local Lidl. I love them. They're so cute. Like every Christmas, I'm like, I get a new one. Whether it's a big one or a little one or a key ring like this. Like I get like one like this too. I can't get rid of things. It's really bad. Is it matter you'd carry him home? Yeah, I would. I actually would. I truly, truly would. I would carry every one of the rocks home. I don't care how heavy they are. I can't leave them. If you just say, oh, like you see like a teddy or something, you say, oh, he's cute. You just gave him an identity, okay? Can't do that. I would be really bad if oh God, if it was like, if I had like something as big as of a possession, like a car, and then you name it like her or something, or give it a name, like I couldn't get rid of the car even if it broke. If it blew up, I would still keep it. We should set a goal for me to get a gonk size of that snowman and kill him all. That would be... Wait, no. Oh my God, what's his name? I don't watch him, I don't remember his name. Is it Queso? Am I saying his name right? Please tell me I'm not saying his name wrong. I think that's his name. And this girl crocheted him a gigantic crochet version of him. And I've been watching it happen on social media. And he got it today. That's how I would be. That is how I would be. Maybe it wasn't today, but I saw the video of him getting it today. I would simply, why is the sky so dark? This looks really dark. I don't like it. I would simply pass. It would, can you imagine a life-sized version as big as that snowman over there of a gonk? Yeah, I love that guy so much. Oh my. Because like I keep wanting to get like a big gonk that like stands up, but they're so freaky. You know, with like these extendable legs. But they're so kind of like, they just kind of like freak me out a little bit. Sky dark, someone turn off the sun. I know. Like it's pretty, don't get me wrong. But I don't like playing games when it's dark in the game. I like playing the games when it's like nice and bright. I don't know. The only reason I'm going to play a game, like Dreamlight Valley has like an option where you can turn the like, basically turn the sun off. So you can put it to any time of day, like no matter what. I always have it on daytime. I think there must be some people that play Dreamlight Valley with absolutely no sun at any times. But I'm literally the opposite. Also, we have 1 minute till ads play. Ah, I wondered when they were gonna come. They are here. We have to watch them. I'm so sorry. One of these days, Twitch is gonna be like, oh, we have enough money to not have to make people play ads. It could be optional. And then you guys don't have to watch them. Except for now. But I think, are gonna do more of the, more copper. We still need some more copper, and I think during the ad break we can let it respawn. So that's fine. Oh. So that's fine. Maybe I should go back home and see if I can change out and put some more wood. We have more wood. Because we need a lot. I need like 800 planks of wood. I think there's more chance of us finding intelligent life on Earth than Twitch making ads. Than making ads optional. Can you imagine? They just won't do it. They just won't. I dare you to do it though. I dare them. Wait. Why does it scare you like that? That's terrifying. It's like you don't have any wood. What do you mean you want to make it into planks? Scary. Ads will be playing in a minute though. So I will say we're gonna have a 3-minute ad break. Go and get something to eat, go get a drink, stretch, do something good for your body, okay? We will be back in a couple of minutes and we will be carrying on with the bulletin board and we will get it finished. I will finish it, or at least 95% finish it. I'll see you guys in a couple of minutes. Okay, we're back. That went by really quick. It goes by so much quicker now that I just like leave. But I don't just sit here and be like, oh, ads are playing. Like, I just go for like 2 seconds and I'm like, oh, ads are done. Brilliant. Okay. So we do have quite a bit of what we needed. I need fabric, and I think the easiest way to get fabric is going to be to buy it. So fabric's going to probably be the only thing we do buy. But we also need... I can't even remember the name of that. My mind has gone blank. How long do we have for this? You just said time's running out. How long is it? Are we about to not have enough time? 192 gold. Can I make some? Is the question. Oh, I can make some. Does it take long to make? Fabric. Oh. Yeah, I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna go buy it. We're gonna go buy it. I am not doing one thing to go back and do another thing and then have to do another thing so then I can go and take it. No. I know that sounds very lazy. A week, maybe 2? Oh, we'll be done. If not, we'll be done today to some extent. I need the honey and the furniture. That is it. But we got majority of the honey thanks to Raz in last stream. In the last Palia stream, we did like most of it. Let's go check. Because for some reason it doesn't tell you on that like that screen. We have 4 more honeys to get. And I need this guy. I don't know how difficult it is to get. Hopefully it's not. And then we need these. I have one of those and one of those, so. Not the best, but I'll definitely get it done though. For the first time, I would say. Is it fabric? How much do I need? 11. Okay. There we go. Bloodfish is fairly easy for me. I think, is that the only other fish that we needed? Because if it is, it was extremely, extremely easy for me. Where was the fish? Was that in that was the last one. Right? Or am I blind? Wait. Yeah, that was on the last one, right? Or are you talking about this? Because the last fish we had to do, I got so easy. It was insane. Like, I've genuinely never not struggled to get that one. Yeah. So easy for me to do. I think while I was fishing for one of the bundles a couple months back, I literally got like 3 plushies at the same time. Like, I don't get plushies, and then one time I don't stream Palia. One time I didn't stream Palia, it was like, oh, give me all the plushies in the world, okay. Give me everything I need, and then give me plushies too. But I took it. It was fine. Oh, this is what we needed. Why can I not remember the name of it still? What is this called? Clay. Why am I forgetting clay? Why am I forgetting the name of clay? What? Yeah, we need some clay. We need more. I think we need more. I think I need more. Guys, my brain. I think we need more copper. Okay. Not too much. I need like 80 copper. Not 80. It was more than that. Tell you what, we do clay, we do copper, and we wait for everything else to finish being made. And then that's it. And then all I need is a fish and some honey. So, pretty much we're done. It's not that difficult. And I could, honestly, I probably could just like... Watch, it's not on here. It will be something you can actually request, right? Is it this? Wait. No way. Hang on. Can I actually do this? Can you imagine? Where's the honey? How do you find honey? Wait. I'm actually just gonna try my luck. I'm actually just gonna try my luck. Because I know all I would need is 1 honey. I don't know, maybe someone's being generous today. Why not? I mean, the last time I asked for like 3 black pearls, just out of like curiosity as to if I would get them or not, within 5 minutes of each other I got both. So, if I was still wanted to give it to you, don't worry about it. I appreciate the intent. We had a lot of help from Raz the last time we did the honey. He managed to find like 15, 20 honeys, and I was like, how the hell? Because we had no luck. I had zero luck. I tried it on stream, I tried doing it off stream, and it was just terrible luck, so. Oh, what did I leave? I left something. I do not remember doing that. But yeah, it's fine. I think I finish this either way. Even if I just play off stream, I can easily get it, but we've done a majority of what I need today. We needed to resource farm to make the resources or buy them, and I'm kind of like, do you remember when we were last year? I used to be very like, oh, I want to do it the easy way out and just use money to buy the ingredients for something, right? That's how I would be with like pretty much any game. Now I'm kind of a little bit more like, let me resource farm and use the resources I need to make the thing and not buy them. Like, yeah, we've bought like fabric because that's ridiculous, but if I can get it myself, it makes more sense. Using the overwolf, I didn't have much trouble getting the honey. I don't like overwolf. I used it. I used it once for a while. I used it for more than one game too because it was just worth it at the moment. But then I kind of like don't like the fact that it kind of wears down the performance of my PC. Now, I'm not gonna lie. I don't know how true that is, but it felt like it did. And I would rather just find things myself. That's a you problem, no a problem for me. It's like, I don't care like how people play games. I really just don't. There are so many people that use Overwolf in Palia, and that's fine, and the devs have said it's fine. But I would prefer not to. Because the thing is, when I was using things like that, I didn't play the game. I wasn't playing the game. I was literally doing nothing. Because I knew where everything was at all times. I think it's so much more fun now. You guys were like, no, I'd rather play the game and actually find things for myself. And I was like, no, I don't want to do that. How the tables have turned. I'd much rather just like find it. I don't know. Bonnie. Thank you. Thank you, I appreciate it. Did you just like fully log back on just to do that? Thank you. We have one more, I think. And that is it. One more in the fish. And we're done. You did? Thank you. I appreciate it. You guys are so helpful. I need to have something that I can give you guys because you guys always have the things for me. I never have anything I can give you in return. I haven't got a thundering eel though. I feel like I should have had one. Oh. I feel like I should have one, but I just like don't. Someone could though. Someone could have it. We have like 40 minutes. Someone could give me one. And if they do, then that's just amazing. But if not, I can fish for it. I don't mind fishing when it's like a low energy day. Like just sitting in a game and fishing is so easy, I would say. At least to me. When I don't have much energy, you know, I'm just sitting in a game and pressing like 2 buttons. It's like perfectly fine. So you too, we get your lovely smile and stream. You guys are too nice. One of those days. One of those days. I don't know. One of these days, I promise. There will be something. I don't even know what we would do. I feel like I keep wanting to get through streaming to a point that we hit a milestone. And the thing is, every time I get close to being streaming for a year, or like having streamed for another year, like I end up going through like health stuff and I can't stream for like 6 months. Which sucks, right? Because that's what happened last year. I had to stop streaming just as we were about to hit like 2 years, I think. It was a year, I think. And oh, I got sick. And that sucked because I was like, oh, we were gonna do this, this, and this when it was like my anniversary, and we just didn't. So That's one of the like goals. I don't have goals for myself in terms of like numbers anymore. It's just like carry on streaming until around October time, and then we can have a celebration stream. That is going to happen this time. Promise it. Because I think it would be so fun. I'm not gonna say it will be like a super long stream with like, you know, like reasons to actually what it would just genuinely be us like having like more fun than usual. I don't know. We would figure it out. Maybe I'll even play a game I've never played. I don't know. But it would be longer than 2 hours, but it just wouldn't be insane, you know? That is definitely something I would love to do. On a celebration stream. I feel like it's just the one thing we haven't done. Needs to be at least 48 hours. Can you imagine? One thing I will never do on stream for 1000% is sleep on stream. The people that do that are insane. Like I say, I have played Fortnite for like, I think it's like 8 years or something now. And the amount of people that have done 24-hour streams or like 48-hour streams and they sleep on stream, you are crazy. I don't know why you would want to do that. It terrifies me to think that you would just do something in your sleep that would be weird and then it would just like ruin you forever. But yeah, I don't think I'd ever be able to do... In my current health state, I think like 4 hours for me was a lot. You'd be ill doing that. I would never do a 24-hour. Never in my... I've only ever done a 12-hour, and that was when I was nowhere near as bad with my health. But 4 hours is like where we push it to, and then we see. I think the thing we can do that would be better would be to do just like a certain amount of streams that are dedicated to it instead of doing them all at once. That is like the smartest thing in comparison I've seen people do. It's like you don't do a 12-hour stream, but you do 12 hours worth of streams towards it, you know? So that's probably what we do. Like my mum's saying, I would get ill. We don't overstream on this channel because that's what makes us ill. But I wouldn't do that though, don't worry. I wouldn't. You will never catch me doing a stream for that long. Unless I miraculously was healed from every health issue. It's not happening. But I think accumulating the hours in throughout like 2 weeks or so would be cool. So we say like 8 hours at the moment. But if we did like an extra stream in that 1 week, we could do like 12 hours worth of streams throughout 2 weeks and it would just count towards it and we would actually call it that, you know? I've never run a celebration stream ever, so you're not alone. I think the thing is though, it's because every time it comes towards a celebration time, like whether it's my birthday or it's affiliate anniversary or it's like streaming anniversary, I get really ill and I can't stream for weeks and then I have to stop streaming altogether for months. It's not because I just haven't done it. It always happens around October, which is when everything starts to become a celebration. There are some streamers who do 12-hour streams, but they do stop the clock to go take a break. See, my break would be like 15 hours. So the stream would carry on, but I would not. So you wouldn't see me for like 12 hours anyway. But it would probably just be like, add an extra stream on for 2 weeks. And then just, you know, cumulatively call every stream a celebration stream. 1 out of 2. 1 out of 3, 1 out of 4, whatever it be, you know? That's the idea I've like looked at over the last however long. Like when I was thinking of like coming back, it was just like, obviously don't do anything silly, but like think smart on it. I would like to do that. You know, like people do like 12 days of like Christmas, but within streams, which is really cool. And it's just like little things. Like we could even just play a different game for like 1 hour of the stream and make it a 3-hour stream or something. But yeah, we don't push boundaries anymore. I've learned my lesson. I learned my lesson. 2-hour streams aren't as fun as like longer streams, but they mean we can stream. And I like that. I like the fact that we're streaming it all, you know? So no, I wouldn't be silly like that. You guys will never catch me sleeping on stream. But I also feel like if you're doing like a long stream and then you pause the timer, it just doesn't feel any different than doing a regular stream. So I feel like it would just make sense to be like day 1 of 12, you know? That's the idea we've got going right now. What do we need? We don't need any more. I'm trying to think of the math. We need like, is it 5 ore to make copper bar? I have more than enough of that. And then I think we have more than enough for the clay as well. So I think we need to go back home. Do we really need anything else? I think that's all we really need. And then we can do honey. So actually I think maybe we go to Elderwood. We go back to Elderwood. Go back to? I haven't even been there in a while. What am I saying? We go to Elderwood and just try and find 1 honey, I think. All I need is 1 honey. Where do we get the eel from? Where does that spawn from? Is this... Wait, can I not hover over it? That is so annoying. You then need a big brother voice saying day 1 of 12 in CosyKas. Can you imagine? I don't think I could do it myself. That would be like... That would give me like the ick. Like a strong... Instead of like the big brother accent, but like a strong Yorkshire accent. Harry Rivers with worms all day. You are amazing. Thank you. I don't even need to look at that now. Okay, so maybe we do that and then I can get 1 honey in a day. That'll be fine. So maybe we go to Bahari then. Rivers. Okay. So we go to Bahari. I'm pretty sure we have worms. And if we don't have worms, then it's my own consequence of being stupid. So I have to go back. Something I really wish we had is like a general shop in each area instead of having to go back to Killamar. Like, I don't know. Flooded Fortress also works as rivers. Would this be a river? Like, this is a river, right? But then you're saying Flooded Fortress, so this is a pond, that's a pond. So I'm going to say up here, which is up that way. I think we just go here to be positive. Instead of me, like, fishing for, like, 15 minutes and realize I'm in the wrong place. I'm pretty sure that's a river. You would never guess that I failed geography GCSE. You would never guess. It's not obvious enough, right? Definitely know my differences between rivers, ponds, seas, and... I mean, honestly, though, I really don't. Like, I actually don't understand. I kind of just judge it by shape. If it looks never-ending, it's obviously the sea. But is the sea the same as the ocean? That's what I don't get. It's so confusing. Oh, look. It's a Tony in the wild. That's so funny. I didn't expect to run into people. I love this. We can just fish together. I was like, I'm gonna go up to this person and like get the thing, the fishing thing. So funny. Oh, I accidentally did that. How do I even emote? I haven't emoted in forever. That's so funny. I never expect to run into people I know in games. I think I've been playing so many like single player games that I just forget that like multiplayer exists. Truly though, I've been playing so much Dreamlight Valley, it's kind of getting a bit ridiculous. I keep wanting to think like, do I stream when there's a big update? 'Cause I wouldn't stream Dreamlight Valley in general, I don't think. I don't think it's like, I would rather just play Dreamlight Valley in my own time unless there is a big update. I think it would be kind of fun to stream it. Because my reaction to some things, it needs to be streamed because when I did this last star path, you guys, I've never done a star path so quick in my life. Okay, star path is basically like a battle pass, but with like cute Disney stuff, right? It took me like a total of probably 10 hours, like over 2 days. It's like 5 hours each. I don't know how I did it so quick, but I did it so quick I didn't expect it at all. So there is every chance that we could do that on stream, but we'd have to see. But I don't know what the next update is. I think it's... Is it Pocahontas? I'm not sure. I don't even know when the big update even is. I know that PALIA does like an update pretty much every month, except for April, I believe. So I'm kind of like getting in the groove with updates when it comes to streams. But, because I think we have like a week or two until the new bulletin board and stuff comes out. Which we will do the same as we did last time, because I actually enjoyed starting it on stream. I haven't done any of it off stream, and it's been kind of nice. It's nice to have a focus for like any game. I think when I'm playing a game sometimes with no focus, I feel lost. I have no idea what I'm doing. So we'll definitely be doing the next bulletin board on stream. I just wish the Stars and Islands would just work. Just doing my fishing weeklies. I haven't done any weeklies in months. In months. Maybe we should do that again. I should make like Wednesdays weeklies or something. I don't know. Wednesdays being PALIA weeklies or something, and Fridays being like whatever I'm feeling like, maybe? I don't know. Because I kind of wish like other games had weeklies too, but Heartopia is a daily thing with only one weekly quest, which is like... It takes like 5 minutes, so there's not too much of a... I've been playing too much Dreamlight Valley that I held down thinking it was gonna auto pull the fish in, and I think I just got it. I'm gonna cry if I did. There's no way that better not have been the eel. But yeah, like... Heartopia is like 2 minutes, and then there's not really anything in Dreamlight Valley to do that's weeklies. I feel like the only thing that's weeklies is PALIA. I'm not too sure about... What is that sound? Not too sure. I do just wish that Stars and Island work, because I would love to do like a full-on playthrough on stream, but it just won't let me. It won't let me. I've barely done anything offline because I'm trying to save it for stream. And like, I'm not the only one as well. I think it could be related to... Honestly, it could be related to a graphics card. I don't know. We haven't had an update for graphics cards in like a long time. I haven't, at least. So, I'm not too sure. I kept thinking the reason that the RAM was a problem was purely because of Windows needing to fix an update that they did. Not the problem. They fixed it, it's still a problem. I'm hoping and hoping that they're gonna fix the RAM problem and we can continue playing it. I finally planted stuff though. So we have plants done. I got the mushroom outfit. We got the fish. I delved in deeper to, oh god. Into the... Yes, I got it. I delved in deeper to... Oh, we can do this. Into the forest. Which means... I've not done much. I've honestly, I think the only thing I've actually done... is what I've done on stream. So, you guys haven't missed much. Which is great, because I hate when I... Cody! No. Oh, it's Raz. Oh my god. Raz, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate you guys. I'm gonna go back home. We've completed everything. For reference, if anyone is interested, I'm pretty sure we've completed everything once we make the furniture. We're gonna go check. But yeah. I've been trying to work out how to pull fabric in Starstone. I think you have to have There's like 2 or 3 different machines you need. And then I think you have to do one of the skills or something. It's so in-depth. There's so much good stuff about it. But I physically just like wish I could play it on stream because I don't want to keep playing it off stream and then experiencing things with like you guys because it sucks. I like showing you guys like my reaction to stuff because I think that's the one thing that's like somewhat entertaining about me is the reactions I have to stuff because it's kind of dramatic, let's be honest. So it's like, you know, that's the one thing I'm very like, I want to show this on stream. I don't want to do it off stream and then I can't stream it. It might even be that, honestly, we can't stream it until it's in its full release, which is gonna suck so bad. But I have all the machines. How many hours do you have now? How many hours have we got? I'm very curious. We put these in there. And then we need... keep them up there. No idea. Honestly, I've only... when I was playing, you had like a couple more hours than I did. And I was on like 10 hours and you were on like 13. And it's been like a week and a half since then. And you have all the machines and I barely have any of them. I'm going to assume you're on like 50, 60 hours. Which I wish I was too. Like genuinely, I wish I was because it's so annoying. 80 plus? Honestly, I respect it. I respect the grind. The game is truly so fun. I think there's so much hate going towards like characters being like very what was it? It was like characters are like not got like much to them and it's like the game has only just come out into early access. It's not gonna be packed full. But man, is it pretty and I wish I could play it. I wish I could play it. It's driving me insane. I almost feel like I just need to start like a completely new character. But I don't think I can. Can I? If I can make a new one and just play that. Or I can continue with the one I've got. And then when I'm able to play it again, we can just start over. But I don't know if I want to do that. I was having fun with you guys and then the game was just like, nope. Which is just like the most annoying thing ever. Alas, we will get there in the end. It will happen eventually. Okay, look how much we need. That is so annoying. Can we at least do this? Oh my, this is annoying. Okay, well, we can't do any of the others now, so we have to go back and turn those in. No. So I'm gonna have to wait for all the stuff to finish and then turn it all in. But just know we finished. Just know we actually did finish, but it's thanks to you guys. So let me try removing it and reinstalling. That is the one thing I haven't technically done. I did do, oh, what's it called? Verified the files. For reference, I don't know what verifying files actually does, but it fixes things. So I've done it multiple times for different games. But it's like, didn't do anything. So I'm kind of a little bit like, do I fully reinstall it and re-download it and see if it helps? For reference, my RAM usage is like 4,000. I don't know if is it megabytes or megabits. I don't know the difference. But that's how much it's running. So if you think it would work, I could do it. I could see if it would work, but it won't take too long to do. I just haven't done it yet because it's like the last thing I want to do. Do you have any spare lumber mills? If you could swap out some machines to run more sawmills. I could, but it's still going to take quite a while. We'll see. We'll see. Let me see if I turn these in. Let's go back home. Can I fast travel? I can't. Let's see if I could just bonk them in the front garden. Megabyte of 4 gigabyte. Yeah, that's how much it's taking up the game itself, not just the PC in general. It's using like 100% of my RAM when the game's open, and I have OBS open, Spotify. I have all these open. when I have voice meter open, which I need to stream, I can't stream without that open. Spotify, I'm not streaming without music in the background. Stream labs labels, which is basically needed. Streamer bot, which I need, OBS, and then I have the game open. And it uses 100% my RAM. Don't get me wrong, the rest of the PC is fine. It runs completely fine. But the RAM is just like, ha! I don't want to risk anything with the RAM. It's scary. Ouch. Yeah, doesn't that seem a bit excessive? It sounds insane to me. This one is basic one, but it could do something. That is all I have. That doesn't sound right. Is that all I have? No, it's not. Hang on. Wait. Hang on. Let's check something. I feel like I have had more of those before. No. Not on this one, I don't. Is this got anything on it, or is this just something I bought and never decorated? Wait. It says tester. There's nothing here. It's a house. Just a house. That's so funny. Okay. Oh well. I will, after stream, I'll probably go and re-download it and see. If it helps and it stays fine, Friday's stream will be a Stars and stream. Let's just put this down. It will be a Stars and stream because, like, oh wait. I have another one here. Not a good one, but it still works. But yeah, if that's the case, then I will be streaming Stars and on Friday because I miss it. I want to play it so bad. There's so many good things I want to do. And I want to start decorating. I think it's one of the games that would be cool to try and decorate on stream, like actually, because there's so many things I don't know how to do. Like the amount of different like systems they've put in place. Like you can merge something straight up. You can put anything together that you want without it being already like that. So if I want to put like a pillar through a rock, nothing is going to stop me. Which sounds amazing. And I want to make like, I don't know what I want to make. I don't even know what I want to make. I think I should make a Stars and Island Pinterest board. Like I did with Heartopia because it helped so much. And I need one for PALIA as well. And then I've done a bunch of stuff for Dreamlight Valley as well, which with all this experience of starting to decorate, I think we could do it on stream. I wouldn't do any other game just yet because I'm a little bit like picky with it. But because I don't know too much about Stars and Island yet, it's not where I'm like, I'm not in the stage of this must be perfect. So I think we could try. It's going to be super cool. There is genuinely so much to do in decorating in that game. So I would be very intrigued to see just how much we could get done. I feel like the possibilities in that as well is going to be kind of cool. Like, how much can we truly do? Wait, I got 11? 11 from that one. Do I need wood to make more of those? That is a question. Because if I don't, I can make more. I'm going to assume I do, though, because otherwise it wouldn't make sense. Hang on. Hang on. How do I decorate again? I forgot. Oh, you can already tell that my keybinds are just not it. I'm forgetting how to do things. Okay. So we have another one of these. And then I can go and do this, and it's going to be a hell of a lot quicker. 680 lures? Why do we have so many? Why do we have so many lures? Excuse me? That was crazy. I have none for reference. I don't think, but do I not? I saw someone doing a lure party thing earlier, and I don't, is that like, is there something currently going on where people need to catch bugs for something. I have 2. I have 2! And I only have 310 coins. So, all the gold I get from mining kitsu, hunting, and weeklies. Oh, that's a good point. I didn't even think about that. That makes a lot of sense. Ooh. I got nuts. That's amazing. Yay, and a mustache. Oh my god. Oh, I really want that. Oh my. It's always need to catch bugs. It's called plushies. True. True. I think sometimes I just need to like stop thinking so much about what I'm doing in the game and just play it. And then you get stuff like that. Like I overthink before I play every time. I shall not enter lures. So like, how are you even are you just running around Bahari like a madhead? Just like mining everything you see until gold starts spawning and you're still not getting the plushies? It would drive me insane. It would drive me insane. But I could probably make lures, to be honest. I think it's just the apples that puts me off because I just haven't done farming at all. Like, I can do some. I can do one. I can do one because I haven't picked up any of the dragon's beard, but I don't have... It's not like I don't have anything to make them out of. I just don't need them right now. You know? Can we make some more yet? I think I need, like... I think we need, like, 20 to make some of these. That's the problem. I don't think we're gonna make enough without waiting like 30 minutes more. I'm not gonna lie, I'm actually really hungry here for the first time in a while as well. Which is kind of weird. I don't normally get hungry this early on. I used to. Damn, we can't do it because he's 22. I need a couple of these. I think I only need 3 of these though. So we can make that. 72.8 hours. You keep calling it sandstone? Is that because we're playing Palia right now? Is it confusing? But 72.8. Wow. I already imagine, like, what have you like focused on? Like more than anything. Is there anything like skill wise that you're like the most, like, I don't know. Because like in Palia, I feel like mining is probably one of my favorites just because it's more simple than anything, but it used to be fishing. And I don't know what I would personally think of Stars on. I feel like the adventurous thing just makes sense though, because it's like you basically just keep adventuring, but you're probably like, are you a like end game type? If you even can call it that in a game like Starzan, but like is that kind of like where you're at, do you think? Crafting, exploring, above at max. Wow. I haven't even scratched the surface. I will do what you said though. I will try and reinstalling and see if it helps. I've just been put off reinstalling because I just don't want to. I don't lose anything if I uninstall the game though, right? I know that sounds silly, but I've never uninstalled and I've never reinstalled a game that wasn't online. You know, I'm going to assume that it's fine to. But honestly, I'm not even all that bothered if it means I could just play the game. If I lose it, whatever. I have heard people say that they've had like problems just logging into the game and then their game got wiped. So I wouldn't be surprised if I reinstall it and it wiped the game. But do you know what? If it does wipe the game, we just start over again on stream. It's not like I lose much of anything. I haven't done that much. I've only made about 20k gold so far. Gotten about halfway through the forest. And done some fishing. So to be honest, if it loses everything from the game, I'm just not... I don't think I'd be that bothered. I don't think I'd be that bothered. Okay, this is taking a long time. Okay, I am not gonna lie. Let's Let's go see how much I actually could get. I don't want to buy them if I don't have to, but we have everything else. And I just feel like if we have everything else, we can finish it. I don't have to think about it. 20k gold. I think I'm close to 500. Okay. You're like basically a millionaire. What do you sell? What is it that you think's good? Because obviously I've barely played the game, so that's why I'm only making money from fish. That's the only way I'm making money. Going to the wrong place. So I've not figured much out yet. So I'm curious to see what you... Oh. Well, we did this stuff for stream, so it's fine. We did all the farming for stream, it was fine. Like, it's whatever. I'm not cheating, it's perfectly fine. It's like, it doesn't matter at all. It's completely fine. It's fine. You guys are like, why is she so weird? Like, why did she say she wasn't gonna do this? Now she's doing it. Leave me alone. We'll be sat here till like 10 PM, just doing nothing but staring at the screen if I don't buy things. Okay. It's a Steam account, Steam game that's stored in your cloud, so you shouldn't lose anything. Okay. Didn't say you wouldn't, just saying you shouldn't. Okay. Well, I'll see. Like I said, I'm not too bothered if I do, because I've not done anything. In terms of 10 hours played, that's also when I've forgotten to pause the game and walked away. Or when, like, my mum's come to talk to me and I forgot to pause the game. Or whatever. It's, like, not that big of a deal. It's okay. It's fine. Okay. I know I wasn't going to buy anything. I do the daily board. Some of the things I can make give me over 5k gold. I just feel like... Is there not, like, a passive way to make income in the game, though? I still didn't buy enough, you gotta be kidding me. Well, back we go! Like, what's, like, the best way to make money other than the board? Because you've made a lot of money. You have to be doing more than just that. Is it stuff that's, like, further in the game? Like, is it one of those things that it's just, like, keep playing the game and you'll make money? Or is it, like, PALIA where you've got to figure it out? Fishing and making things. Wow. But within the amount of time you've done... Yeah. Do you know what? It actually kind of makes sense. Yeah. No, the math is kind of sort of mathing in my head a little bit. A little bit. Okay, so what we need is 1 and... No, I don't trust myself. I don't trust myself to remember. I've got to take a picture, guys. I have to take a picture. I'm just going to completely forget about what we need. Which... How much is it for, I can never bring myself to sell anything. I make my money just from the board. Really? Wait, why don't you want to sell things? Are you just, like, worried that you're going to need it? You know what? I'm like that in most games. Unless I'm, like, super desperate. I'm like, I just want this thing. Yeah? Oh, God. I know how that feels. Okay. I'm gonna buy more because we're almost finished and then I'm done with it and I don't have to think about it. So we needed about 50 for that one. So we can do that. And then we needed... Okay, let's do, like... I think it's like 200. If this doesn't work out, then... Oh well. I'll finish it off stream. But I think we should be fine. I need to catch up some sleep, so I'm gonna go deposit myself into bed. Have fun and remember Pali isn't a game, it's a lifestyle choice. Have a good rest of your day, though. Thanks for coming, I appreciate it. And thanks for the help. You secured me that final honey. I appreciate that. We're nearly done anyway. I'm gonna... I don't know if I'm going... what I'm doing after stream. I gotta decide that yet. But I do need to eat. I know I need to eat. I better be going home and not to Bahari. I definitely need to eat something. I'm really hungry. I'm not even, I think it's probably because I didn't have like the most like filling like lunch or dinner, whatever you want to call it. Oh, we went home, thank God. Okay. So we need 10 of the top one, which is the sink. I don't have these yet. Okay. This is so stressful. If I do all the things that are on the board at the moment, I'd make off 15k gold. See, that's just like not enough for me. That's just like not enough for me. I feel like I need more. And I'm not gonna lie, guys, I don't think. I do it. Why do I need so much? This is driving me insane. I don't think I can spend any more gold. I'm gonna literally hate myself if I do. I'm literally gonna hate myself if I spend any more of my gold because I don't have enough anyway. Everything on the board it resets every in-game day. In-game day? Wait, how long is an in-game day? In real time? Because we never figured it out, I don't think. I know it's like an hour in Palia, right? I think. It's like 2:45 and 6:15 is 6 and 6. I didn't figure that out until recently, just for reference. Okay, well, I'm not gonna do the other stuff, but I am gonna just claim these. Because I'm gonna have to buy things. I don't know if I want to do it. I'm gonna reassess, because I also have to do this. I haven't bought these yet. I don't think I can get these. Not sure, not time date, but you can go jump in bed and reset it. True. True. That's like how I play. Sometimes when I'm playing like other games like Stardew Valley, like, and I'm trying to make money, I do just kind of reset the day so I can do it all again. Which might sound kind of ridiculous to some people, but like to me it makes sense. I'm just like, I want to make plants that make money, so like, can I just like go to bed? Instead of like having to wait forever, like why not? But yeah, I will kind of update you guys if I'm able to fix the game, because I think it would be really nice if on Friday we could play it, because I really want to play it. I'm like itching to play it, and if it doesn't work, I'll probably just play it off stream, and when they fix it, we'll just start over again. Like, I can even just get the game to where I was in the last stream, and we can just start over again. I just hope they don't break it again. I don't want them to break it again. I can make a lot of money, a lot of gold in the time I play. Okay. That's like, so you could make 15k in like 15 minutes, which in an hour is like 60k. That's not bad. Not bad. Depends on what you're spending the money on. How much you saved up the extra memory you need, or just not started yet? Oh, I haven't saved anything. I can't save 400. I have no chance of saving £400. No chance. But they will fix it. This is the thing. It's not just me that has the problem. I'm pretty sure it's just the game in general. It's if you have more memory, it's just going to be not really effective to you, especially if you're not streaming. When my PC's idle, it sits around 25-30% RAM usage, which is normal, perfectly fine with everything closed. And it's not a problem. And then I open OBS and I open all the streaming apps I need open, and I open the game, it goes to 100. So you need to start. I don't have money like that. I don't have money like that. Look, if I made it as a streamer, it would be fine. We're not there yet. Yeah. I will update you guys on if it works, because if it works, we will be playing Starzand every day, pretty much. Every stream. So I'm gonna go do that. And then I'm gonna eat because I'm absolutely starving. So I will see you guys on Friday, no matter what. Even if we can't play Starzand Island, we will figure out. We'll figure out what I want to play. I'm not sure what we want to play, but it'll either be Palia, Heartopia, it could be Dreamlight Valley, maybe. We'll see. It could be something else. Who knows? Who knows? I will update you guys though in Discord, on like Twitter or whatever. I'll put the links to my socials there if you want to follow any of them. But yes, I will be live. As long you do know, as long as it's the same type of RAM, it doesn't need to be the same. Oh no, I know. They're all expensive. Don't worry about it. Like I said, mine was £50 and now it's £150. No matter what, RAM is extreme expensive. I would just have to buy the exact same RAM I already have for it to be cheap. But yeah, I'll see you guys on Friday at 4 p.m. GMT as usual. And I'll let you guys know what we're going to be playing. Hopefully it's Stars on Island. Either way, we will be live.